Hey, welcome back. This is New Attitude with Jamie Carmel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and hit the thumbs like button if you like this video. We're going to take a break from narcissism right now, and we're going to talk about the George Floyd case. Black Lives Matter. Appropriate. Okay. This is what I have to say on this case. And then once we talk about this, we're going to drop it because we're not going to talk about it anymore. What happened to George Floyd was horrible. He was killed. He was murdered. That's the truth. No doubt about it. He was killed. But I always talk about this, and I talked about this in my other videos, how people have a responsibility in their lives and how they have a part of their death. Now, I brought this up when I went to college. My first college degree was criminal law. We had a really controversial professor. He was the one that did criminal law. And he talked about, and he was so radical, this was in the 80s, and he talked about how everyone has a responsibility or a part in their death. Now think about that for a second. Wow, does everybody have a responsibility and a part of their death? Does that mean children that get abused and children that get beat up and killed? And it's like, ugh, I don't want to believe that. But he wasn't really actually talking about children. He was talking about adults, consenting adults, people that can take care of their lives. Now, let's think about this for a second. George Floyd, he was no altar boy. He had a long rap sheet. He had a lot of records. At the time, he was doing something illegal. The cops probably knew him. They knew him. They're like, oh, it's George again. They probably knew what was going on with him. So he had a part in it. Now, I'm going to say this. A lot of people aren't going to agree with me. This is why this is America. In my 56 years, regardless that I was in the legal system, let's say I was never in the legal system, never was arrested, never got involved with cops, never had domestic, never was involved with a fight or people were fights and stuff like that. God, one time I remember I was in a bar and a fight broke out. I hid in the bathroom. I ran. You know, never was involved, never got involved with the cops. 90% of Americans that do the right thing, don't get involved with the cops. Now, my theory with all this rioting and looting, how does that have anything to do with George Floyd? Really? Does a big, gigantic TV or those clothes have anything to do with George Floyd? I'm a kid of the 60s. So when I was watching TV when I was a little kid, I saw all that. I saw all those race riots and you know, Martin Luther King, you know, in the streets. He didn't peaceful protesting until it went crazy and looting and all that. I saw that through the 70s, saw it through the 80s. It was fucking scary. And to see that again after all these years, it was frightening. It was downright frightening. It scared the shit out of me. It has nothing to do with him. What happened to him was an isolated incident. It happens to white guys. It happens to white women. It happens to Chinese men. Oh, sorry, Asian. See, I'm being politically correct. It happens to everybody. Stats are showing you everybody gets involved with the police. It doesn't matter if you're black and white. Now, everybody knows this. This is no secret. I don't know how many liberal viewers I have out there, but everyone knows there's black on black crime. Always. Look at Chicago today. Eesh. God knows what's going on over there. Look at Detroit. Look at New York City. New York, where I came from. Look at LA. Black on black crime. Did George Floyd have a part of his death? I think he did. I think he had part of his death. I think he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was doing something that wasn't right. There was no allege he was doing something wrong. He had a rap sheet, so there was no secrets about him. He was a drug addict, methamphetamines, fentanyl patches. We all know that. I'm not saying he was an altar boy. He was no altar boy. He should have not been killed that way. Nobody should be killed that way. Black, white, any kind of race should have never been killed that way. Now I'm going to talk about cops. I spent over 15 years in the legal system. I met good cops. I met a lot of good cops. Really a lot of good cops. Did I meet bad cops? Hell fucking yeah, I met bad cops. There was a lot of bad cops too. But not as many as the good cops. There is a lot of cops that take their job seriously. I took my job seriously. I helped all those people. I helped every single one of those people. I talked to everyone, you name it. I talked to child molesters. Could you fucking imagine talking to a child molester? Still gave the same respect to a child molester. Still talk to them. Talk to rapists. Talk to murderers. I used to have sit-downs with murderers because it was only one thing that they did. It wasn't their whole life. It was that one thing that they did that got caught that made them different. Sat down, have conversations with them. They were like, hey, you're not that type of, you're listening to us. You're not that type that's judging us. Never judged anybody. I never judge anybody because I always say, the grace of God go I. I always say that. But this has got to end. This craziness of going into big cities and hurting people, it's got to end. I grew up with Vietnam War, so many wars, 9/11. It's crazy. We're Americans. We all need to be together. We all need to stick together. It's not Black Lives Matter. It's all lives matter. All lives matter. George Floyd, there's going to be a lot of George Floyds. And a lot of George Floyds are going to be white, black, Puerto Rican, Indian, all different kind of races. It's never going to end. It's always going to be, you're always going to have something to protest. But you got to break into a friggin' Target? How is that bringing back George Floyd? It has nothing to do with George Floyd anymore. Then it has something to do with you gaining something. That's all you want to do is fucking gain something. Breaking into a Walmart. I live in the Tampa Clearwater area. They broke onto the Walmart in Tampa. $100,000 worth of merchandise. Probably more than that. People all running in. All races. All different races running in. When does it end? When does it end? I'm not prejudiced. If anyone knows me, my first boyfriend was a black man. I lived my first life, my first maybe 10 years of my adult life, 19, I dated a black guy. This was in the early 80s. This wasn't what it is today, where everybody, let's do everything. Let's all fuck around. Black, white, gays, everything. None of that shit. That shit didn't go back then. It was 1983. Picture this. 1983 in New York. In suburbia, New York. Here's this little white chick. Blonde hair. Remember I had blonde hair. Here's this little white chick with this big black guy that was a football player. Dated a football player from high school. Do you know the trouble that we had? Do you absolutely know what I went through? We were thrown out of a restaurant once. We don't serve your kind. Take a hike. We don't want your asses here. I was in the street once. You want to talk about police? I was about 19, 20 years old. We were in the street just walking, coming back from a Grand Union. Anyone knows a Grand Union in New York? Just getting something to eat. We were going back to our little, hideaway. Cop pulls over. Hey, lady, hey, girl, I wasn't even a lady because I was a kid. Is he bothering you? What's he doing to you? A cop did this. Said, this is my boyfriend. What are you talking about? Your boyfriend? 1983, folks. 1983. Let's fast forward into the future. 40 years from now. We're still fucking fighting over race. What the fuck? When I'm with somebody or I meet somebody, I never look at anybody's color. I look at the person. I look at who they were. My boyfriend back then, I never saw him as a black guy. I never saw him as a black man. I saw him as a person. I saw him as a man. He was a man. And that's the problem today. Everyone wants to segregate again. They want to break everything up. I'm not going to start with Black Lives Matter because I think it's a radical group. I think it's trying to keep black people down and trying to start all this rhetoric and start all these fightings, and it's not good. All lives matter. All lives. Even cops' lives. I've been on the other side. It's the most... Now I'm a nurse. But at the time, it was the most toughest job I've ever fucking done. And if you can see it on that side, everybody would understand what it is. The life of a cop. I had a lieutenant once say to me, hardest job to get, easiest job to lose. True. It's not an easy job. Everybody fucking hates you. Everybody fucking hates you. And it's unwarranted. It's unwarranted. And I met people that I met all walks of life. I never would have met those people in my entire life if I didn't work in that field. I met them all. Treated everybody the same. Did I want to talk to a child molester? No fucking way. But he needed a fucking towel. He needed this. He needed that. He got it. Because you got to treat everybody the same. And you can't run to conclusions. Listen, I'm going to end it with this. It's going to be a quick video. If you don't get in trouble with the law, you're not going to get killed. That's probably an accident. 100 accidents here. But that's the truth. I've lived 56 years in my life. I've never was involved with the cops. Did I get pulled over? Yeah, I got pulled over a few times. Cop said, license and registrations, hands on the steering wheel. My hands were on the fucking steering wheel. I didn't fucking move. Whatever he said, I did. You don't fucking fight a cop. You don't. What is going on? This generation is fucking doomed. It's doomed, this generation, because nobody wants to listen. Nobody has discipline. Nobody has any self-respect for themselves or another human being. They don't fucking give a shit. Oh, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't fucking give a shit you're a cop. I don't give a shit you're a teacher. I don't give a shit you're my fucking parents. That's their attitude. And that's going to be the downward spiral of this nation. That's how this nation's going to end. George Floyd, he died terrible. There's no refuting that. He died horrible. He was killed. George Floyd was killed. But George Floyd, he was an adult and he knew exactly the things that he did in his life. And it's so funny that we look at his life and has his life disrupted other people's lives. How other people got killed. Cops got killed. Black cops got killed. Civilians got killed. Black and white civilians got killed in the name of George Floyd. Why? Why? I don't understand this. I don't understand this. You know, when Prince died, I was so sick. I was in my house for 6 days. I couldn't move. I couldn't move out of the couch. I watched all his movies. I watched every single thing about him. Tears were flowing. Prince, he was a black man, but he did something. He did something with his life. He didn't say, oh, I'm black, so I'm going to get whatever I want for free. He didn't do that. He worked for what he had. He had fucking talent, and he showed his fucking talent. Could you imagine if George Floyd didn't end up with such a rap sheet, or didn't, he grew up maybe thinking, maybe I should do something in my life. Maybe he could have been somebody. Maybe he could have been someone, a law-abiding citizen. So does anyone have, and this was 15 minutes, I want to drag this out. Does anyone have responsibility for their death? Yep, I believe it. You know not to go somewhere or you're going to get killed. You know not to go somewhere or you're going to get yourself in trouble. You know not to do something or get involved with this person because you know you're going to get your ass handed to you. You know it. Everybody knows that. That's just fucking common sense. You don't have to be smart for that. That's just fucking common sense. And it's terrible what happened to George Floyd. But people are paying for it, and I don't think it's fair. This is New Attitude with Jamie Carmel. Another serious video. We're going into all these serious videos. I'm probably going to have to throw another cooking video in here. Please hit the thumbs like button if you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. New Attitude with Jamie Carmel. This is serious stuff. Folks, please, let's just behave out there. Let's all love each other and let's have self-respect. All lives matter. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.